Live for episode 134 of the Wise Guys podcast. I am your host, Brandon Capozziello, and here with me today, Blast from the Past. He is back, and he is back in regular form now. Every week, Tuesdays, we are going to be giving you basketball breakdowns. NBA season is upon us. Next Tuesday, I believe, is when the season finally begins. He is
We don't
Romaine
play
Davis.
until Thursday.
Yes, Thursday. What's Thursday?
We don't play until Thursday.
Oh, Miami. You're talking about Miami. Yeah, we don't play on Thursday. What our home opener is? Who are we playing? I'm forgetting now. I know we play the Celtics like very, very soon, but this is about.
No, we play both Milwaukee and Boston within the first 10 games.
Yeah,
I think it's Detroit. I think it's Detroit.
Detroit. I feel like yep. We played Detroit in Miami, so that's going to be a fun opener on Wednesday night. Actually, at 7:30 p.m.
Wish it was a ring ceremony.
Yeah, well. Finish the story this year. Hashtag finish the story, Romaine. We're going to be on that train this year.
The way I talk about it, I'm this year. I'm not even gloating. I'll put out a tweet. I'm not gloating. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just gonna chill. I'm gonna chill a little bit. I'm not gonna say nothing because we've done beating the East and beating them boys. We've done it already multiple times. It's not a problem anymore. That doesn't impress me. We need the moment you go hear me talk is when we get that jewelry.
We need that ring on it. Put a ring on it.
Listen, we can beat Boston in 4 games. You're not going to hear a peep from me. We can beat Milwaukee in 4 games. You're not going to hear a peep from me.
We need a ring. We need a ring. To finish it off. But we're going to get into that throughout the coming weeks and possibly today, Romaine, and people with us. And topics for today, we're going to be giving you our NBA awards predictions before the season starts. Me and Romaine are going to be going through the award list and giving you who we believe is going to be our predictions to win it. And I got a couple of like second place guys in certain categories that are I couldn't really. I'm like 1A, 1B type. We're going to get into our playoff predictions. Who's going to make the playoffs in the Eastern and Western Conference? Maybe some expectations for each team. We're going to give you some dark horses. Romaine's got a couple dark horses that he believes could be playing in the conference finals this year. And maybe to wrap it up, we might get into the blasphemy that is leaving Jimmy Butler off the top 10 NBA players currently after this man literally.
I'm not going to lie. I don't mind. I do think Jimmy's top 10, but I don't mind anybody leaving him off the top 10. It's the people that have above him that's pissing me off.
Yeah, that's a problem. But like even that, we'll get into it. We'll get into it at the end of the show. But before we dive into the topics, everybody, if you're watching currently, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you are new, share the content with everybody, and comment along with us and give us your thoughts and opinions. Disagree, argue with us. I'm always up for the interactions. Follow me on Twitter. Follow me on TikTok. I will interact with you. I'll have the banter with you. Follow Romaine on Twitter. Links are in the description. And subscribe to Romaine's channel, FLB. Link is in the description. Now,
road to 10K. It's been a road for like 5 months now.
Hey, listen, it's a long battle, but it's worth it at the end of the day, Romaine.
I just been lazy and I've been working a lot, bro. I got the 5K and then I slowed down. I slowed down a lot.
You slow down. You got full a little bit.
Not even that. No, just life happened, bro.
Yeah, I hear
like
that.
Around this time, I wanted to already be at 10K, but oh well.
It takes time. But let's get into it right now, right? Awards predictions for this year, Romaine. We are obviously going to start off with the.
Let's go from the bottom to the top.
Oh, you want to go? Okay, you want to do B to T? B to T. Okay, let's do B to T. Let me put this out. So the bottom. What would your bottom be? 6 man.
I was gonna say coach of the year.
Coach of the year. All right, let's go coach of the year. So I'll hand it off to you, Romaine. Who do you think is going to be? Who is your coach of the year for 2023, 2024?
There's a couple. I've obviously have spoke because I do think people are very much underrating the Heat in the sense that the team is better than it was last year, and God's willing, if they are healthy and they are not top 5 in the NBA in most missed games by players or rotation players, they'll be easily a 50 win. They'll be a 50 win team, higher 50 win team, and they can probably be around that 3rd seed. And I do think Erik Spoelstra is due finally. And for everybody having the Heat at 6 or 7 or 8, for them to get up to anywhere near like 3 or 2, he would need to be one of the people to get that award. But the guy I'm really looking at right now is over there in Minnesota. Because as of right now, the Minnesota Timberwolves are scheduled to be pretty good this year. Last year, I do think people didn't give Gobert and Cat enough time to actually mesh at all.
Mm.
Um, and yes, defensively it didn't look too great, but offensively it wasn't even that bad. Cat is a way more willing passer, and some of the most one of the most unguardable things in the NBA was the Cat to Gobert alley oop. So
Mm-hmm.
hopefully you have Cat for a full season, and he is now for sure your second guy. I think last year was a toss up between either him and Ant, and now he's your second guy.
Yeah.
Expecting after what Ant just did in the playoffs against the Nuggets, you're expecting a very much a big leap from him specifically, and what you saw in FIBA. He looked really good. He looked like he's poised to take that leap into superstardom. And then there's guys on there guys like Jaden McDaniels that made it off All NBA defense last year, who should have been easily, I think, is right now gunning and probably has a good good enough reputation and enough to say that he's probably the best perimeter defender in the league, or wing defender at least. I mean, 6'10", 6'11", really not long wingspan, really good defender overall. He's getting better as a scorer. He shot a career high in 3-point percentage, I think 39 to 40 or something around there last season. So you have him for full. You don't have D'Angelo Russell to begin your season this year. You have a point guard that understands the role, that has a lot of good chemistry with Gobert, that knows how to play his role and actually just be the facilitator or be the floor general on the floor, keep things under control. So I do think they're poised to take a leap, and I do think Chris Finch is going to put his name in those conversations for Coach of the Year also.
Okay, interesting. So that's a kind of a little spoiler alert for Romaine's predictions for the Western Conference, that he believes the Timberwolves are going to be doing pretty good. So for me, I got two names. I agree with you on the Eric Spoelstra one. My only caveat with Spo, and I 100% agree with you that he is due for winning a Coach of the Year. The fact that this man has not won a Coach of the Year is outrageous to me. The caveat I have with Spo is that if the Heat do well in the regular season, right? That's the whole caveat there for me. There's teams that usually, I think Boston is better in the regular season than us. I think Milwaukee's better than us in the regular season. I think even Cleveland can be better than us in the regular season.
Cleveland is a whole different story, but I do think teams like Boston and teams like Boston, Milwaukee, or like
the Sixers
Denver right now, you're expected to do really well. You have a lot of talent in your roster, so normally those coaches, unless you're overwhelmingly destroying the entire league, you're not really like a 67 win season from any one of those teams did win them Coach of the Year, but 59 wins is not going to win those guys Coach of the Year because you're expected to do those things.
Maybe. What about Milwaukee though? Rookie head coach Adrian Phillips.
You have Damian Lillard and Giannis.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair point. So Spo is my first guy, right? I'm looking at, and then I have the caveat, right, with if the Miami do very well in the regular season. My other guy that I'm kind of looking at, that I believe that this team is going to do very well in the regular season as well. I think Frank Vogel of the Phoenix Suns is going to be my Coach of the Year this year. I have the Phoenix Suns doing very well in the regular season. It's kind of another prelude for everybody that I believe that, and me and Romaine kind of had like a little a conversation before the show where I said the big four of the Western Conference. What I mean by the big four of the Western Conference is the big four of the question mark teams, the two Los Angeles teams, Phoenix and Golden State, right? I believe those four teams are going to be relatively healthy this year. It's just kind of a gut feeling I got. I was telling them it's not I can't really base it off anything. Obviously, you could look at Kawhi and Paul George, they've been injured. You look at LeBron and AD, they've been injured. You look at Golden State, they've been in and out. You look at, and they've dealt with other things too, but that he has left the building now, and that's going to I believe that's going to be cleared up and help a lot with Golden State, especially on the road. And then with Phoenix, KD has dealt with injuries and stuff like that. So and the meshing stuff right there. But I believe the Phoenix Suns are going to do very well in the regular season this year. Frank Vogel is going to do a hell of a job coaching. I think he's a good coach. I don't think he's great. I don't think he's, all-time or anything. I just think he's a good coach. I think he does very well defensively. He gets his guys to buy in. And I think that's why they brought him in, because they looked at their team and they said, we got Book, we got Beal, we got KD. We don't need a guy to coach offense. We need a guy to let these guys buy in defensively, and that's why they brought in Frank Vogel. So I think Frank Vogel is going to be.
I understand that, but you still need the personnel, and then going out and getting a guy like Nurkic to be your defensive anchor right now it doesn't really scream defense. It doesn't scream defense.
You got to get
This
in the
team
buy-in.
at most are going to be at most even with the problem with Phoenix right now. Yes, they're overwhelmingly great offensively. It's not a problem. I don't think they're going to have a problem scoring this season, even with a Frank Vogel offense, which has historically not been that great. But I don't think they have the guys to really. I don't think they have the guys to really play any defensive scheme that he normally had, or even because you look at when he was in Indiana, he had Paul George, he had a pretty good he had a really good Roy Hibbert, he had a point guard in George Hill that's a pretty good defender. You had the personnel. You go to LA, you have LeBron, AD, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Rajon Rondo. You have the defensive personnel. You don't see that here in Phoenix. Like you have Nurkic.
I'm looking
you have a Kevin Durant off a ACL, off a Achilles injury, MCL injury, and all those things. You have a Devin Booker that is a better defender than people give him credit for, but still is just above average.
He's good.
You have and then you have a
Beal.
You have a Bradley Beal that's what Bradley Beal
he's not
at this point.
He's
you have either a bunch of neutral or negative defenders on the court right now.
Fair.
I don't think you're gonna have the guys to actually be that great defensively. I do think they're gonna outscore a lot of teams, but I do think that defense is gonna come back to bite them a couple times. Where that's gonna make them a fourth or fifth seed.
That's fair. I hear you there. That's a great point. Obviously, it's kind of hard to argue that, but what I will say is I think you can agree to is defense is a lot more about really effort and getting somebody to buy in. And what if you're like, obviously, you look at some guys that are just not athletically gifted, right? They don't have the speed, the quickness, the agility, or the length, or anything like that, right? But if you're a scrapper, right? I'm trying to think of a guy right now. Patrick Beverly,
I understand.
You know what I mean?
I understand what you're saying. You're like the Joe Ingles type, the guys that are very high IQ.
Somebody that's not very athletic or anything like that. The scrappers, Grayson
Allen. I don't think that's. I think that's kind of not giving defense the respect it deserves.
No. I'm not saying like these guys aren't skilled defensively. I'm just saying a lot of defense, I truly believe, is a lot more of just effort. If you actually try to be good at defense, then you're going to be pretty good at defense, or not. You're not going to be quiet.
You have guys like
you're going to be good.
You have guys like Tyler Hero or like Tyrese Maxey that no matter how hard they try, you're gonna be almost a neutral defender at majority of times.
But like you look at a guys like so Tyrese Maxey, right? A smaller guard, right? You look at a guy like Chris Paul. He's 6 foot. He's a great defender. Well, was a great defender.
But that's because Chris Paul is a lot more skilled defensively than Tyler Hero or Tyrese Maxey.
I hear
he's putting in more effort. It's just that he's just better.
That is yes, but also I think that effort has to play into it. The want of doing it, wanting it more. Like Chris Paul's mentality is, he's a pit bull. He's a guy that fights you. Are Tyrese Maxey and Tyler Hero those guys defensively? I don't think so. I don't think you can say that about either. That's what I mean. Maybe it's more mentality, and then the mentality equals the effort. But I hear you. I'm not taking away anything from the skill point of view of defense. I'm just saying a guy who is not as athletically gifted or defensively gifted, quick hands and shit like that, can be a good defender. He's not going to be great. He's not going to be Kawhi. He's not going to be fucking Paul George. Okay, go ahead. I'm going to continue going. I'll move on to the next award here. We got. We'll do most improved award. So my most improved award winner this year is actually for a guy who plays for a team that Frank Vogel coached. And this guy's name is Mr. Austin Reeves. We all know that Austin Reeves has made a very, very big jump last year playing with LeBron and AD and the Los Angeles Lakers. They leaned on him a lot.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you heard me, Romaine. I was saying I'm giving them my most improved player award. My guy is Mr. Austin Reeves of the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm trying to pull up his stats that he was. I
think he was 13 or 14 points per game last season overall.
Yeah, so I can see that bumping up to like a 17, 18 points per game, just like numbers bumping up. And I just think that I also think the Lakers are going to do pretty damn good. That's a prelude to our playoff predictions and stuff like that, and where they finish regular season wise. And I've got Austin Reeves as my most improved player of the year.
I understand that. Haven't really thought about most improved player really. I do think Jordan Poole is gonna have a really
He
really
was a guy that I thought
strong
about.
consideration
Mm-hmm.
for that too. Hell, Tyus Jones, since he's on the team too. You glad, but he could
No,
very
no, no,
well
no, no. I hear, yeah.
he could very well be one of the guys that jump up into that category. It's just anybody on. I think anybody that went from a backup role or anything like that to a new team is definitely gonna have a chance to really put their name in that conversation. But if I'm gonna pick a guy that I think, especially with just how much shots he's gonna get right now and just how much freedom he's gonna have, it's Jordan Poole. Like
Yeah.
I fully expect 25 to 27 from him this
Yeah.
year. Of course, it's gonna be a high shot diet.
Percentage is not going to be well.
I'm not. I don't know. 44, 45% is what I expect. 44, 45, and like 36, 30, and like 37, 38% from three on high volume. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where
I don't expect that. My expectation is like 41, 42% from the field. That's kind of what I'm expecting. But I do hear you on the Jordan Poole is I think he's one of the betting favorites right now for most improved player.
Honestly,
and
with Washington is a team that isn't at the very bottom, but they're in that mix where they're not in the very bottom, but I don't think you would consider them a play-in. They're one of the teams that could fight for a play-in spot.
They could.
Yeah. Tyus Jones, Jordan Poole, Danny Avdia, Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford. The only negative offensively in that starting lineup is like Danny Avdia, and that's if he gets better.
So I'm gonna give you the
plus Bilal that rookie Bilal Quilbeli or something like that is honestly looks like a defensive monster already.
All right, Google is failing me right now, Romaine. I literally just had the betting odds of the top betting odds for the. Oh, all right, I'm pulling it back up again. Here we go. I'm gonna list them off to you, and you can just say, yes sir. So most improved. This is the betting odds of 5 days ago. Number one plus 600, Mikal Bridges of the Nets.
Most improved? Didn't he average 27 the second half of last year?
Yeah, 26.1 points per game across 27 for the Nets.
Okay, but so how overall, what was the scoring? Overall,
he ended up averaging better than 20 points as the primary score.
No, but I mean like for the entire season. Like,
yeah, 20 points. Sorry, I forgot. I didn't.
Oh, 20. So
I didn't read the full sentence of that. That was confusing for me.
I mean, Jordan Poole going from 20 to 25 versus him going from 20 to 25. I guess he's not going to be any better defensively from what his reputation is as a defender, and Mikal Bridges specifically. I don't know.
He's the favorite right now. So number two is Austin Reeves at plus 1,200. He's the second betting favorite right now. So that's where my pick is going right now. I just also believe the Lakers. They get a lot of coverage. They're one of those teams, and I believe that's going to play a factor into that again.
I don't think that really plays a factor in the most improved player award. You have Larry Marketing winning in it last year.
Yeah. No, I just think it could be just a feather in your cap, an extra like, okay, this is another thing, because a lot of people are probably going to be riding that bandwagon if I believe the Lakers are going to do well this regular season, which I do. Another guy tied with Cade.
If Cade wins it, I'm gonna be angry.
I'm gonna
be angry. It's not that I don't like the fact that lottery picks, number one picks, that in second year or just takes a jump from second to third year, or he was injured last year and then takes a jump your third year, and now you're getting most improved. This is what you're supposed to do. Like, what the hell are we doing, bro? It would be different than Ja, where in his fourth year he was like a 19 point per game scorer, and then you see like in the playoffs he was really well, and the next year he's a 27, 28. But for like fourth to fifth year, where a guy's like, come on, man, really?
Yeah, like, what was Cade averaging? Like
20.
20? Okay. I was about
to
say.
Let me make sure. Let me not make sure
20, or is he lying?
I made a couple of videos on them.
If he was at 20, I was gonna say, like, what if he makes a jump to, like, a lot of people expect Cade Cunningham to be this legit dude.
19.9.
Okay. Oh yeah.
The percentages are awful, but like,
yeah. So then other guys would be Tyrese Maxey.
That depends on where James Harden is.
Yeah, I'm gonna butcher this guy's name. The guy in the Rockets, Şengün, right? Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Alperen Şengün.
Şengün. There you go. He's at plus 1,600. Scotty Barnes of the Raptors plus 1,600. Jordan Poole, Wizards plus 1,800, and then Josh Giddey of the Thunder at plus 2,000. Those are
Damn, really, Josh?
Yeah, Josh Giddey.
I mean, Josh played. I think he went up to 17 points per game, same amount of assists, and he went from like 27% from three to like 33. So there's improvement. But he shot like 47% from the field. Like there's definitely improvement. I didn't think people were that high on him.
So what award do you want to tackle next? You want to do rookie,
sixth man?
Sixth. All right. Give me your sixth man of the year, Romaine.
It depends on what Golden State does.
Okay.
If Chris Paul is coming off the bench, maybe. But if Kuminga's the one coming off the bench, definitely Jonathan Kuminga.
Okay.
From what I've seen in preseason so far, it's honestly been amazing. Like we've been waiting for the jumps and all the cryptic stuff. Steve Kerr going on Draymond's podcast and them talking about guys buying in, all of that stuff, wanting to win, and talking about young guys and like shooting shuttle shots. People are talking about Jordan Poole, but I think that was aimed at Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody, guys that were pretty high picks, but weren't really getting the opportunity that their peers were getting, and they were complaining. And you're on a team winning championships here. You need to learn and grow. So I do think, and I think this is the year he does get inserted in the lineup and gets a lot of minutes. So I do think he's my guy to win it.
Your guy's Jonathan Kuminga. You're going with Jonathan. So you name the guy that I'm going with. I think it's going to be Chris Paul. Again, it depends on how they use him, right? The way I'm seeing it in my mind would be they have Steph, Clay, and Dre, that lineup kind of start, and then Chris Paul comes in at like the 5-4 minute mark of the first quarter, and then comes in for there, and then they can take some rest, and then Chris Paul is out there. So if that's the way they're doing it, I think Chris Paul commanding that second unit is going to be able to win out this award. It'll be a nice feather in Chris Paul's cap too. He's been an illustrious career. Obviously, hasn't won the championship, but just another feather in his cap. Six man, a guy who, because this is something that also is where you can he's going to take pride in it, maybe not big pride in it, but where fans and people of the basketball community can kind of like look in and be like, Chris Paul did it the right way. Whereas like a lot of other older players, they didn't know when to, take the back seat. You're not that guy anymore. Don't do that anymore. You have to take it. And Chris Paul is, figuring that out right now.
I think most of the guys that are Chris Paul's stature that got to the point where they're like, they were as good as Chris Paul was at his peak. And then when they get older, I think most of those guys have been able to age gracefully and play in different roles. Dirk, D Wade,
Gary Payton. 100% Gary Payton. He aged very well. Dirk and Dwayne Wade. They aged
Dirk. Yeah, I was about to say Dirk, Dwayne Wade. Who else?
I said Gary Payton.
Gary Payton is definitely. Alonzo Mourning was one of them too. Hell, even at some point, even Shaq was able to accept those roles and play pretty well in those roles because he was over a 15-point per game scorer until his last year in the league with Boston.
A lot of roles too. Just
a lot of different roles, and he was able to.
Yeah, he played in a lot of teams. That wasn't a fat joke.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I think the level of like a Melo or those guys is where you used to get the cutoff of guys that don't know when it's time to quit.
Yeah, they don't know when it's time to just let it go, guys. You're not that guy. So I'm going with Chris Paul. Romaine is going with Jonathan Kuminga, both Golden State Warriors. So guys can
and still terrorizing the league. 9 years later.
But listen, hey, you saw Clay's Instagram post though. He said me against the world.
Okay. Bro, we've seen this shit with them all the damn times. It somehow always works out. I don't care anymore.
It does. It works out unless because I'm hearing a lot. I don't know your thoughts. I would imagine your thoughts are with like the majority in the basketball community where it's cool. Clay's kind of does not deserve that max. Like, don't you?
Oh, hell no. Hell no.
So that's what I'm saying. So maybe if the Golden State Warriors, Joe Lacob's not there anymore. I forget who the new GM is.
Mike Dunleavy.
Mike Dunleavy. If he goes and says, "Yeah, Clay, we don't think that you're, we can't give you that max."
Who's gonna give him the money?
Somebody. It's a sucker's born every day. Oh, a bad team is gonna. Well, he's not gonna go to a bad team unless he's all about the money. Unless he's just about the money. But if it's not all about the money, it's gonna be a big F you to Golden State, and he's gonna go to a contend. Maybe he goes to the Lakers, takes a discount. I don't know. His dad works for the Lakers, I think, right?
No idea. I don't.
Like the
I
announcer. I think
maybe.
he's one of the announcers, if I'm not
Um,
mistaken. That's what I mean.
I'm
by
not
it.
John. I don't have the entire staffs of every single team
Yo,
memorized.
this website SI is a terrible website because it keeps canceling me out of this goddamn website. But whatever, we're gonna move on with it.
All
Yep.
right. 6
Next
minute gear.
up,
What's
you
the
want
next
to
one?
do?
Rookie of the year.
Let's do rookie of the year. Tell me your rookie of the year, Romaine. Okay,
Wemby.
just
I'm
right
not
away.
even gonna bother. Like,
Right, no hesitation.
if it was before the preseason, I would have been like, Scoot Wemby. I mean, you're seeing a lot from either one. Maybe you got a guy, maybe you got Ashar or Amen come in. Hell, Cam Whitmore looks really good.
Chet.
Maybe he, Oh,
Chet.
I forgot Chet. Chet can be one of the ones to win the award. But the thing with Chet is that he's gonna be a third option on that roster.
Yeah.
So it's a lot different than.
Yeah, he could take a second role though. I could see him taking.
I don't think they're gonna take the ball out of Shea and Josh Giddey's hand right now with the way they're progressing.
I thought you mean like more as a scorer.
Yeah, Josh Giddey still with how much they're progressing already. I don't think you would take you make either of them take a back seat yet.
That's fair. Yeah, my rookie of the year is kind of similar with you. I'm not gonna, be the guy that's just gonna try and be different or whatever. I'll be picking Victor Wembanyama to win rookie of the year.
It's just, it's honestly, he's just insane. I watched the play against us where he starts from the he calls for the alley-oop at the 3-point line. He throws it with like one toe into the arc.
Yeah.
And then the ball's on the downward flight. The alley-oop is not at apex anymore, and he dunks it on he turns a downward pass into an alley-oop. That's insane.
I listen, I hear you on that. Like I've said with Wemby over the past several months that his star has kind of risen and been born. I've just said, I want to. I'm a first off. I need to see it to believe it kind of guy with that. So I'm gonna wait on it, obviously, to regular, and I want to see like a full season. I want to see how he gets through a full season. I want to see if that body holds up. Not wishing anything on him, knocking on wood for the kid. I wish him all the best, but I want to.
I would have that concern if he didn't look as mobile as he did. Like he with how much we've heard about all the precision, all the things he does with his body.
But it's just though, like it's just gonna take one wrong turn. You can do all you want with that, and that's great. Listen, I love that. I want to hear more about that. Younger kids and players and athletes taking that route, but that's my only one concern with Wemby. And I want to see it in the regular season. I want to see how teams game plan for him when he starts, making that rise. If he starts averaging, probably.
The thing with guys like that, though, is that I don't know what the game plan would be for Wemby. Yeah. And two, you don't normally get teams that game plan well for guys like that until their second year. That's why you see sometimes the sophomore slumps. Yeah. You see guys like Scotty and those guys look great the rookie year, or Evan Mobley look great, but the moment the sophomore year comes around, you actually have a full page of what they do.
It's the same thing in football, same thing in every sport.
The problem with Victor is the fact that we've seen the growth. We've known about him since he was 16.
Yeah,
and he was 6. You saw the clip of him playing against Rudy Gobert and all that. We've seen the growth. The growth from 16 to 19 has been absolutely nuts. Yeah. So I don't even want to think about, from a full NBA development staff, the amount of skills he's going to be able to add his second year. I truly do think not only is he generational, but he's getting those type of like LeBron D Wade level jumps from year 1 to year 2 type shit. Like he's going to be insane.
That's what I wanted to ask you, right? What are you predicting his stat line kind of to be? You expecting 20 points per game?
I want to say yes, but I'm gonna give him a little bit of bail. I'm gonna say 17, 18. He's not gonna be playing the 5 most of the time. Zach Collins gonna be playing the 5. So I'm gonna say 17, 18, maybe 7.5, 8 rebounds, 3 assists. Sounds nice because he's a really good passer. And you understand, he's a really good passer. He sees over everybody.
Playing in the pop.
But the thing that's really gonna he's gonna probably join Tim Duncan as probably one of the only rookies to win all the be all defensive his first year. And I'm expecting him, like, the recovery is just I know everybody's talking about it, but it's an absurd level of recovery. Like, you're getting beat on crossovers, you're getting beat backdoor. All he does is turn.
Oh man, just Hall of Fame pogo badge.
Oh God.
Just jumps up. It's crazy, man. I do want to say this though. Everybody, before the draft, it was like, how tall is this? You heard 7'7", 7'6",
7'5". He's a solid 7'5".
I don't think he's 7'5" though. I'm pretty sure I saw him at 7'3".
7'3"?
Yeah.
Hell no.
I think
Kristaps is 7'3". He's bigger than Kristaps is 7'3". He's taller than Kristaps.
I need to know this. I just need to know. I want people to stop lying to me out there. I just want to know how tall Victor Wembanyama really is. 7'3", 7'4",
I'm pretty sure the same thing as like LeBron's weight. We're never gonna really know.
We're never gonna know. 260, 275. Who knows? All right. Next up, we got Rookie of the Year out of the way, and I do want to give a shout out to Scoot Henderson. I do think that he could be a live candidate if whatever.
If the unicorn doesn't exist, he would be. Again, the thing with Scoot is just that he's in outside of Zion's draft, any other year he would have been a number one pick. Outside of Zion and Wemby, he would have been a number one pick.
Fair.
It's just the simple fact that he got grouped with this like insane demigod.
The unicorn. Yep. Everybody's calling. Oh, so what? What's it? Defensive Player of the Year is next up. Who you got for
Bam Adebayo?
Talk to him nice.
I'm tired of this shit, bro. Oh
I'm tired, boss. I'm tired. I hear you on that. Listen, my guy would be obviously number one pick would be Bam Adebayo. I'm gonna be riding that train with you, brother. But I will say my second guy would kind of be Anthony Davis because again I do think Lakers are doing really good.
Well, he hasn't won one. He's due.
Yeah, and if he stays healthy, which again I think they're gonna stay relative. I'm not predicting 80 games, 70 plus games. That's crazy. Maybe 60. I forget where's the cutoff point? Is it's 60? 65. Oh shit. Okay, well. AD, you're gonna have to.
Yeah, Jamie wouldn't have gotten any awards last year. I don't think Bam would have gotten any either. Like, they're telling you, hey, you better play these damn games.
You gotta play the games if you want the awards. But me and Romaine are agreeing. Bam Adebayo, and my second caveat would be AD if he plays the amount of games.
Second place, Evan Mobley.
I do think
that third-year leap is coming for him also, which is why I also have so much faith in Cleveland.
Offensively, though, because he looked criminal offensively in the playoffs, like literally criminal.
Not offensively, on the boards he looks garbage. He's not a shooter. He's not the problem with Cleveland. Oh, I'm about to get into a whole spiel. I'm so sorry, because I'm about to edit. I'm about to edit the video because I've done enough research. The problem with Cleveland last year, especially in the playoffs, is the fact that not only were you getting destroyed on the glass, but you had at all times 3 non-shooters on the floor at every single moment. Isaac Okoro, Evan Mobley, and Jared Allen.
Well, they tried to make a Okoro shooter, but you know how that worked out.
He shot 36 or 37% or 2 in the postseason. But yes, those you had 3 non-shooters. Now you replace Isaac Okoro and Max Strus. You have a lot more spacing. Evan Mobley doesn't have to. Evan Mobley can now actually use his length and use his size around the rim. He played a little bit too soft around the rim for me, but he looked like he got a little bit stronger from so far what we've seen from him. He looked like he got a little bit stronger.
Because Romaine,
I don't expect the jump shot. I don't expect the jump shot to be extremely better, but I hope that he has a solid 15, 20 footer on it, 15, 17 footer on him right now, where he's shooting at least 35, maybe 40% from that specific area. So he has something that's outside of the paint. Those are the things that he need to develop. Just get stronger and develop somewhat of a jump shot, and stop being so freaking soft down low.
Yeah, and listen, I couldn't agree with you more on the first point you made. If they were just getting absolutely that's what I saw. That's the one takeaway.
They were getting babied. They were getting that much money taken.
2 of their guys were getting bodied by Mitchell Robinson, and it was a little.
No disrespect on Mitchell Robinson, one of the best offensive rebounders in the game. Yeah. Great center for that team specifically. Jared Allen shouldn't have gotten beat like he did. I understand Evan Mobley because he's a second-year guy. He came in. His strength was the first thing people questioned when he first came in the league. We knew he was skinny and he wasn't going to be able to handle
Allen
that
is
early.
Skinny too, though. They're too weak in the backside. They got to put on that weight.
We've seen Jared Allen. This speaks very, very badly to freaking Embiid, specific with his own physicality. But we see Jared Allen in the playoffs go toe to toe with Embiid before. He's not the first time getting like big guys. It's the simple fact that
Embiid's really not trying to get dirty, like you said. He don't want to get dirty like that anymore.
Yeah, he's not gonna get. He doesn't want to get dirty.
Mitchell will get down for that because that's what he's got to do. Like that's his job.
Yeah, exactly. That's how he makes that's his bread and butter. That's what he gets freaking paid for.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like Jared Allen, we've seen
Jared Allen gets paid for too.
Even better. I think 2020 in the playoffs when he was on Brooklyn, they played the Raptors when I think they I think they still have one. So they had those two. He's skinny and Serge is strong. He dominated those bigs simply because he's not pushover himself. I was so like shocked.
Romaine, you're lagging here for us. We kind of got caught in and out of that stuff. Oh, you're back. You hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you cut in and out there. You were talking about how back in
yeah. Sorry.
You were talking. No, it's all right. You cut in and out there. You were lagging in and out there. You were talking. You mentioned back when it was Brooklyn and Toronto. That's what I caught.
Back when in Brooklyn when he was playing Philadelphia and Toronto in the playoffs, like he wasn't getting bullied like that. That's why I was just that shocked that he was getting like baby. If Mitchell Robinson won the matchup, cool, that's understandable. Stronger, cool than those guys. But the fact that he got dominated the way he did is insane.
Yeah. Listen, and that's what they get paid for, and they've got to step up their game. So now let's get to the main event of the awards, if you want to say so. MVP, Most Valuable Player of the Year award. So
Jokic.
This was Jokic. Straight up.
I do think one makeup award for last year. You robbed him of doing something historical because the whole caveat and before the playoffs was, hey, if we give him this award, he better make the finals at least.
That's right.
What happened? Like, what? Come on. What the fuck? Like, now, what was the point of not giving him the award then? You just, like, I get it. Embiid was another deserving candidate, but we knew who was supposed to win that award. Like, come on.
Yeah, I had Jokic throughout basically from which I usually, this is what I usually do in football and basketball. I don't really start talking awards until like kind of halfway.
I just think he's gonna get him. I think he's gonna get a makeup award, and with losing Bruce Brown and Jeff Green, two notable parts of their depth, he's gonna have to score a little more. So you're gonna see him back to probably the 26, 27, and like 12 rebounds and freaking 10 assists a game. And at that point, when he's doing that for like 3 seasons straight or 4 seasons straight now, you're just like, really? Unless the only caveat is that if Giannis and Dame work out so well that Giannis turns into a play finisher that I think he is, because he no longer has to initiate the offense. If he just becomes a play finisher, he's shooting like 65% from the field. Yeah, like so if he does become a play finisher, he's averaging close to 30 on 65% from the field with the same level defense. He could also probably win the award, even with getting Dame, because they're a duo. So he could probably win it. But right now, my Jokic.
That's where I kind of lean a little bit. Giannis is kind of like my safe pick. I hear you on Jokic. He easily could be right up there if you have, especially if he does another triple-double type shit there. But Giannis would kind of be my safe pick if I were to say, because I do think him and Dame are going to work out very, very well. I think the Bucks are going to be a top-tier team, like everybody else thinks as well. So that's where I would go with Giannis would be my safe pick. But my kind of wild card out there, that kind of just like I looked at his name and I went, you know what? I can see it. I can see a path, right? It's going to be difficult because you got guys like a Giannis that I think could average easily 30, 30, 11, 30 and 12, and his usual numbers and stuff like that with much higher field goal percentage and shit like that. Jokic doing his tripped up things. But Devin Booker, there could be a path there. Where if Devin Booker averages like 30 with like 8, because he's going to be taking over a primary playmaking position. So if he averages like 8.5 assists,
I'm gonna let you know right now. But I'm gonna let you know right now, bro.
You think that's
I'm gonna let you know right now?
Did it blow up?
DeAndre Ayton was I think. Let me check DeAndre Ayton shot attempts last year.
He was at like
right now. Devin Booker is not getting any more shot attempts than he did a year before because Bradley Beal is coming to eat up.
How many did Bradley Beal D-Book get? D-Book was like 20.
Yeah, one field goal percentage isn't going to be anything crazy.
I think Devin Booker is going to average the most shot attempts on this team.
He's going to average the most shot attempts, but you're still going to be splitting shot attempts with those 3.
Yeah, but
like you're going to average the most. But
20. I don't think Devin. I think like Klay Thompson.
He's going to get.
I'm not going to be giving
he's
up.
He's going to get his 20, but 2 things are going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
One, I don't think they're going to have enough wins. And the numbers maybe look fantastic, but when you compare it next to Giannis and Jokic, and then they're both like 55, 60 win teams, he's not gonna have a chance.
That's what
you'd have to really want to have to shaft Giannis or Jokic to give it to Devin Booker at that point.
This would, like I said, this is kind of like the wild card one with me, Devin Booker. But I do see like there could be a path there where Devin Booker goes absolutely ape shit wild and wins this award because he's just entering his prime. I believe he's 26 years old. He is literally about on the doorstep of his prime years coming ahead. So that wraps up our award section of the show, Romaine. So now let's get on to the playoffs, who we believe are going to be the playoff teams. I hate that we have to go all the way to 10 teams now. I despise the plan. I think it's stupid, and I don't care. Don't come at me, Miami Heat fan, and we made it through. We wouldn't have had to do that shit if there wasn't a plan because we were.
Oh, that's not what I was gonna say. I think
no, not you. I'm just speaking to the general public out there, okay? Because I know.
Oh no, I was just saying I love the play-in has now made the regular season matter. Like those it's made those last couple games in regular season matter. When you're that 11th spot, when you're that team like Chicago in that 11th spot, and you realize that hey, you don't really have a future, you need to make it. Especially what Miami just did.
Miami still fumbled the bag.
No. What I'm saying is with what Miami just did, it's I'm pretty sure that's giving a lot of teams hope that hey, we just need to sneak in. We just need to get in and play, bro. So many things that happen. We just need to get it in.
Yeah, they need to come to a realization that they don't have Michael Jordan's illegitimate son on their team, all right? Like we do. Butler. But let's get into the players. Do you want to talk Eastern or Western first?
Let's go Western, because if I go Eastern first, we're not gonna stop talking about a specific team.
All right, let's go Western Conference playoff talk right now. I'm just getting the time down. There we go. How you want to do this? You want to go from bottom to top or T to B?
Top to bottom. Top to bottom.
All right. So my number 1 seed is going to be the Denver Nuggets.
Same.
I feel like I don't really
enough
have to explain anything.
Even more continuity. Yeah. I don't think missing Bruce Brown is going to be that much, and I do think finally a full season without somebody sabotaging Jokic and them losing a couple of games because he just doesn't care to win an award anymore is going to screw him over. So I do think they're going to be closer to the 58 to 60 win range. I don't think losing Bruce Brown is going to be that big of a hit because now you have what Christian Braun showed in the playoffs. He can slide right into that spot and fill that role specifically. They have I can't remember his name, but they have a young rookie that was doing great in preseason too. So maybe he takes up Jeff Green's minutes. They had you don't have internal problems with your backup point guard in like Bones handled last season. Like I do. There's just too many things going right for them to not be a 60-win team.
Yeah, and I think Jamal Murray takes another jump forward to prove everybody that he is legit. And stop with the 2. Stop with the 2.
He's a 2. He's not a 1A, 1B. He's not close to as good as Jokic. To be as good as
all right, well, that's not fair because Jokic is the best player in the world. That's
exactly. So you're a 2. You can't be a 1B. You can't be a 1B next to the greatest player on the planet unless you're like number 2 and it's like a top. The only one's a 1B one.
You don't just fall into a 30-point 50-49er in the Western Conference Finals. That's all I'm saying. All right.
Okay.
That's all right. My number 2 team, is shocker out here, is the Phoenix Suns. I believe they're going to be relatively healthy. Like I said earlier, I think Frank Vogel is going to get these guys to buy in. Romaine is like, nope, I'm not seeing it. But I just think, like I said, the offense speaks for itself. And defensively, I think that they're going to get the guys to buy in a little bit more and they're going to do good.
LA.
Which LA?
Lakers.
Okay.
You think I meant the Clippers?
Hey, don't disrespect the Clippers, man.
Okay, the Lakers. I have the Lakers specifically because now picking up guys like this past off, getting rid of guys like fake shooters like Malik Beasley and a full off season of guys like Jared Vanderbilt working on his game and bringing in guys like Christian Wood, bringing in guys like Jackson Hayes looked really good so far this preseason. And Torian Prince, you got I think Max Christie is going to take like the Austin Reeves leap because the Lakers has a really sneaky good coaching staff, development staff. So I do think you see a jump from even him also. They have the roster that can handle missing 20 or so games from either LeBron or AD or both. They have a roster that can handle missing them for a little while. Yeah. So and then when they're healthy, I do think they're going to be one of the hardest, if not the hardest team. LeBron is playing a typical small forward role now, like a typical small forward. It's running
it's going to be a beautiful
running the break, playing off back. Like he doesn't have to like carry the entire. Like I fully expect him 25, 24 or something. Like I fully expect him probably the lowest point total since his rookie year because it's just how easy it goes.
Yeah, and he's gonna be doing 8-8 as well. I hear you
Yeah,
there.
he already has a scoring record, so he's gonna
He
go
doesn't
all
have to
out for
worry
that.
about all
Even
that.
if he scores 25 points, even if he scores 24, 25 points, he's gonna hit 40K by the end of the year.
Yeah, no
So it
problem.
doesn't matter.
So I have to that segues right into number 3. I have the Los Angeles Lakers, my number 3 team in the Western Conference, basically for all the things that you already laid out for us.
I have a toss up between the Kings,
Mm.
the Timberwolves,
Mm.
and Phoenix for that third spot.
Okay.
So
you think like
even
those
though
three?
though I'm gonna leave the Miami Heat fan at home here because I've been arguing this Bam and Sabonis thing all offseason because they're just delusional. But I would just say Sabonis, if people have been saying this for years, but the jump shot looks a little bit better so far this preseason. So hopefully he gets better there. And if that comes in, that offense become a lot more dynamic. You have a second year of Keegan Murray. Malik Monk look fantastic, and you expect him to have an even bigger role this season. De'Aaron Fox obviously just showed that he is that guy. Davion Mitchell, you hope you see a jump from him also now having that backup spot to himself. I like the team, and they were able to stay relatively healthy last year, and their offense was consistently able to beat a lot of teams. And I think just having that consistency on a night in, night out basis, all you need to get is marginally defensively better, and you're good. And I do think they have that. They have a dynamic wing scorer in Harrison Barnes still. He's not as young as he used to, but he still can do what he can do. I just like the team. Minnesota, I've given did I say it on air? Oh yeah, I said it when I was talking about Chris Finch for Coach of the Year. But again, Minnesota, Anthony Edwards leap, Jaden McDaniels leap, having a full season at Cat, Mike Conley instead of D'Angelo Russell on the roster. I like the team. Naz Reid looks fantastic. He's the guy I really wanted us to go try to get, but obviously we were all wrapped up in the Dame stuff and didn't really whatever. Not gonna even think about that. But that's another guy. That's another guy that's great on that roster. I fully expect that team to be great. And then the Phoenix Suns, for all the reasons you said, they're just gonna be offensively so good that I don't think the defense is gonna matter a lot of nights, and they're probably gonna get the 50 wins.
All right, so I already know that I'm gonna piss a lot of people off, and probably including you right now.
The Clippers.
So my number 4 team is the Los Angeles Clippers. Listen.
God.
I truly listen. This is what I believe, and it's not really a belief. It's just a known fact that I know to be true. That when Kawhi Leonard is playing and is healthy, Kawhi Leonard is arguably the best player in the world. Okay.
How many injuries is it gonna take before people are like, "Yo, this should really be piling up on his body right now"? Like his ACL is falling off the bone here. What are we doing?
Well, all I'm saying is, listen. He came off the injuries. He was playing incredible basketball, and he got injured again. I am going to keep believing it, like I said, until I see it differently. All I know about Kawhi is this guy is a machine, and he's gonna listen.
Brandon, it's been 4 years of this. It's been 4 years.
Listen, you're preaching.
First year,
I'm a Kawhi guy.
First year with the bubble, they threw up on themselves.
Well, they didn't want to be there. I throw that season away. I throw that out the door for them. They didn't want to be
crazy.
There
they get that excuse.
No, I'm not saying that because they were open about it. A lot of that. They really didn't want to be there. Paul George was dealing with his stuff. They just didn't. They didn't want to be there.
Okay, fine. Okay, 2021 again. Injury bug. Kawhi goes down. PG does what he can.
They were going to win the championship that year.
Yeah, that was the only year they had a chance. The next year,
Kawhi had an injury. Yeah.
The next year, Kawhi doesn't play. He's not healthy. The year after that, gets to the playoffs. Knee falls apart also. What is it going to take?
Yeah, that was this year too, right? I forgot about
that one. He literally got hurt again. That's what I'm saying. I'm surprised he's even playing right now. Like
they were playing incredible bad. He was playing incredible. That's what I'm saying, though. He was literally single-handedly going to take down the Phoenix Suns. Like that was going to happen if he stayed healthy. That's what I'm saying to you. Like apparently this guy is a freaking Megatron. Like yeah, he keeps getting injured, but when he comes back,
for them to be the 4th seed. For them to be the 4th seed, you have to expect Kawhi to play at least 60 games. Do you expect Kawhi to play 60 games? Be so real with yourself right now. Do you expect Kawhi to play 60 games?
I could see Kawhi playing anywhere from 50 to 55 games.
I don't think that's enough to be a 4th seed in the Western Conference.
I think Paul George is going to be relatively healthy for the majority of this.
There's way too much parity. There's way too much parity in NBA. Too many teams, even the bottom tier teams on any given night can whoop. I'm saying even the lower tier teams are even on their level. At any given night, they can beat you because the league is just that talented. You're gonna need more than Paul George on a consistent.
But that's why
basis.
You have a guy like Ty Lue to elevate the team, which he is.
Oh my God, Ty Lue's a wizard now.
No, I'm not letting you do that, Romaine. Ty Lue.
I know he's a good coach, but what is he gonna do? He's gonna magically give Russell Westbrook a 3-point shot.
Well,
he's gonna make Ivanka.
Westbrook freaking came out of nowhere. You saw how he was playing in Phoenix against Phoenix, you should say.
Yeah. You still lost in 5.
Outstanding basketball. Well, because everybody got injured, Romaine. Okay, I know. Well,
you got that a 5-game sample size in the playoffs versus the Suns. You expect that Russell Westbrook to be playing for a full regular season?
I think
we've never seen him shoot over 30. We've never seen him shoot over 34% from 3.
No. The shooting. No. I'm not going to even kid you there. The shooting, no.
That was the crux that what made him so good against Phoenix. The fact the shot was going down.
No. It was a major factor, but it wasn't the only reason. The other reason was he was playing outstanding defense because he bought in defensively. And when he plays against Kevin Durant, this man is on another level. He takes it personally.
Okay, so he needs to play. So for the Clippers to be the 4th seed, he needs to
play like you're playing Kevin Durant.
They need to play Phoenix 47 times.
Just literally picture everybody as Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook will be outstanding. No, but I seriously think, listen, Ty Lue is a great head coach. I think he does elevate the talent. They've got a really good team. They got a deep team. They've got a team that in today's NBA, 3-and-D guys, that's how you win in today's day and age. So that's why I do believe in the Clippers and they're going to be relatively healthy. Who's your 4th seed? Oh, well, you already gave your next 3 teams, basically. So
yeah, I have all the way down to 5 done.
Yeah, my 5 seed would be Golden State Warriors. Like I said, I think they're going to be relatively healthy this year. I think the for whoever side you were on, I don't really care, but the problem has now been solved. It's been removed. Jordan Poole is gone from the situation. Cat's out of the bag. And now we can move on. And I think a lot of those road woes of last season are going to correct themselves. And like me and Romaine talked about earlier, I believe Chris Paul is going to be a major impact to that second unit as a 6-man. Jonathan Kuminga is looking like he's going to take finally take that next step. I'm very high on Moses Moody. I saw, very short sample size in the playoffs, but in the spurts I saw him play, he was playing very good basketball defensively and making his 3-point shots. So I like that. So yeah, I got the Golden State Warriors as my 5th seed. Steph, Clay, and Dre, that Steve Kerr. That's just the unit.
Well, you already gave me my 5th, so if we're going all the way down to 6, that's where I have Golden State.
Got 6, Golden State.
I don't think they have enough anymore. I don't think we've seen what Clay is right now. We've seen what Dre is right now. I do think the addition of Chris Paul was very good for them, and they're going to give their second unit bolster their second unit a bit. I think people forget that they missed Andrew Wiggins for half the season last year because of the problems with his father.
Yep.
So they didn't have him for half the year last year. So having him back will be great.
That's true.
But I just think the Western Conference got way too talented anymore. I just don't think they have enough to get higher than 6.
The West is a stacked. I won't disagree with you there. Yeah, got Gary Payton back. I like that addition. Saric ain't really nothing that I'm gonna be like, whoa. Rudy Gay, that's just a good vet to have. He's 37 years old though. So yeah, my 6th seed is going to be the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not very high on the Dallas Mavericks. I do not think that this
I don't even have them making the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm not very high on the Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic duo. I think it's going to fail. I think it's going to fail, and Romaine obviously thinks it's going to fail even worse.
Well, no. I think there'll be a playing team. I don't think they're making them. I don't think they're going to be in the core 8 though.
The core 8, yeah, I hear you there. Yeah, I think I got them at the 6th seed there. I do like some of the moves they've made. But it's not enough to break into that top unit. And listen, the other teams that I have below them can easily surpass them. I'm not dying on that hill of them being the 6th seed.
The problem is that a lot of their depth charts I've seen so far. What a lot of people are looking at their starting line. They're starting 2 rookies, bro.
Are they?
Yeah, they're starting 2 rookies. Their biggest addition in the offseason was Grant Williams.
I like Grant Williams.
You're really banking, hoping, and praying from Josh Green or Jaden Hardy for that team to be really good. Like,
yep, they lack a lot defensively as well.
Unless Luka goes like mega Super Saiyan for the
30,
entire year.
30, 10, and 10.
35, 10, and 10.
35, 10, and 10. That's another. Listen, he's a dark horse in the MVP candidate too. If he does go absolutely
ballistic, yeah.
Next for me, number 7 is going to be the New Orleans Pelicans. Obviously, the Zion Williamson. Is he going to be healthy? Like I said, I'm just gonna say injuries, whatever. If Zion's healthy, this team can easily be the 6th or 7th seed because we know what they can do and what Zion is when he's on the court. So that's where I got them. The New Orleans Pelicans, 7th seed.
Oklahoma City Thunder at 7.
OKC. I like OKC. I just think that they're a little too young right now.
Shea is top 10, top 15, whatever you want to put him. I don't care. But he's within that range. Great young scorer, great young defender. Josh Giddey took some really nice jumps from his rookie year. Became a more aggressive scorer. Became a better shooter. Overall, just look a lot more comfortable on the court, and I think people just didn't watch him enough to see the jumps. His offense was part of the reason why they were his offense and overall is part of the reason why the fourth quarter looked a little bad for them at times last year. But I do think he can rectify a couple of those issues. I believe in Chet Holmgren. I really do. The confidence is there, the ability is there, the shooting doesn't look there, the ball handling ability at his size looks there, and just the defensive awareness, defensive ability looks there already. He plays the more traditional 4-5 role other than Wemby, even though people have been trying to like comparing him a lot, but he plays a more traditional role. He doesn't use Wemby's a lot more perimeter oriented than him.
Yeah.
But I do believe in Chet. And J-Dub last year was absolutely amazing. The second half of the year, he was shooting 40% close or 40% from 3. And it was a nice sample size, so I would expect around a 38% jump from him for a full season. And shooting was one of their bigger issues last year. I think Pokusevski was injured for a good majority of the season. I think he's another young guy off their bench that's fantastic. I like Lou Dort. I just think if there's a person they're gonna trade a superstar, if there's a superstar that's gonna come in, the role they're gonna fit is Lou Dort's role. He's the guy that's gonna be moved out of the way for a superstar.
Yeah, but no superstars coming to OKC.
Second.
Go ahead. Yeah, no superstars coming to OKC. Just to kind of spoil it for you Oklahoma City Thunders fans, I don't see any trade happening for a superstar demand to go to OKC. The only way OKC is going to get a superstar player is through the draft, and they've drafted obviously these young players, Chet, Giddey, etc. J-Dub. I know they got Shea, but Shea was a different type of thing. Nobody saw this jump from Shea when he was on the Clippers. But to move on from that, so he's got the OKC Thunder. So I think it was the 7th seed. My 8th seed is going to be the Sacramento Kings. I think that the Sacramento Kings. I got you. Your 7th seed was it was OKC, right? That was okay. So
also Pokusevski, Trey Mann is another young guy that I think is going to get some real nice burn. I think they had a lottery pick this year, right? Didn't they? Carson Wallace. I think he played for Kansas or Kentucky, one of the two. Great young defensive guard. Yeah. Great young defensive guard. I like the team a lot, and I do think a lot of the hype they're getting is warranted, and I do think they're going to fulfill a lot of it. I do think they're going to be one of the teams they're going to be in the core 8 this year.
Okay. Listen, I hear you on that. I do think that they're just still too young for me to jump on that yet. My number 8 seed is going to be the Sacramento Kings. It's no shade or shot at the Kings. I just think that a slight regression is going to happen. We kind of alluded to this with players, right? Going into their second year when there's tape on you and stuff like that. Usually there's kind of a little bit of a regression or a come down. And I think that's the same thing with the team as well. The Kings came on hot last year. They surprised a lot of people. And they took the league by storm, right? I think now We got
It's
a lot
not
of
that they
teams.
took the league by storm. It's just that, to be honest, the West just wasn't as good as it is now.
That's
The Lakers weren't as good as they were for a full season.
no.
The Pelicans weren't healthy the entire year, and they were the fourth seed at some
That's the
point.
key, the health situation.
Yeah, the Phoenix Suns weren't as good as they are right now. Like
Yeah,
it's
that
and
was
they were
the
and they were
main.
and they were injured a lot last year. It just isn't
Yep.
as good as it is right now. So
Yeah.
I understand the fall off for them.
Yeah. And that's another main point too with me. It's not really that the Kings either. Well, I do think they take a slight regression, a slight one. The West is just stacked, as Romaine just said. Like it's much better for what we expect. Obviously things can go crashing down because a lot of the teams in there are very injury prone, and that could come right back down. And then the Kings are just going to jump right up there because they're probably going to be a relatively healthy team. I like the team. De'Aaron Fox has won me over. But I love De'Aaron Fox. I would love him to be in Miami. He would fit perfectly in Miami. Sabonis, I know you said about the jump shot. I highly doubt it. I just don't have the belief in it.
I do too, but I just gotta throw it out there.
Yeah, throw it out there. I just think that's going to be exposed, and I think a lot of people saw that and they're like, "Oh, okay, tip of the cap."
The reason why I had them in the core three from 3 to 5 for me is because I believe in De'Aaron Fox that much.
I do believe in De'Aaron Fox. I love De'Aaron Fox. I like Malik Monk too. He's a spark plug type player. Number
And
9 would be
wait, are we at? Did I give my 8 yet? I don't.
Oh,
think
you might not have given your 8. And shout out Mike Brown.
Memphis.
Okay.
Memphis. I do think missing Ja for a couple months is gonna help. Is definitely gonna hurt them. But I think Desmond Bane, before he got hurt last year, was averaging 24 points per game on like very good efficiency.
Mm-hmm.
Jaren Jackson didn't even play the full season last year, and his defensive metrics was so great that he made up for the gap of missing time and was still comparable in defensive win shares, things that are cumulative stats, and still comparable to the other guys in the NBA. That's like, I understand people with the whole thing with the scorekeeper and blocks and all. I don't care about that. He's a really, really, really good young defender.
Yeah.
There's a reason why he went DPOY.
Yeah.
I don't think he's the best defender in the NBA, but there's a reason why he's up there.
Yeah. He's one of the elite men in that league.
I think having Marcus Smart here, not somebody that can fit Tyus Jones' role well. I think Memphis can be a playoff team if Tyus Jones was a starter instead of Ja. I think Ja's the guy that pushes them up into the upper echelon, second seed type things. But I do think that they would have been a very good team with Tyus Jones as a starter. And I think Marcus Smart is going to be able to keep them to that level relatively, and that's going to be around the 8th seed this year. Even when Ja does come back, I don't think that's going to be enough time for make up a lot of ground. Too much ground.
Yeah. And to piggyback off of that point, my 9th seed is Memphis as well. Not as well, but my 9th seed is the Memphis Grizzlies. And to add on to that, obviously now Steven Adams is going to be back healthy. Brandon Clark is going to be back healthy. That was a major.
Oh, I forgot about Brandon Clark too.
Yep, that was a major tipping point in the Lakers series where they were just missing.
Wait, wasn't it an Achilles for him?
Let me look it up right now.
Because if he's not, I don't think he'll be back.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to be back.
Corrected. Clark tore his Achilles. He won't be ready to play for the start of the season. So maybe he comes back later on down the line. But Steven Adams is obviously going to be back, and that's a major. He's kind of like that enforcer and that down low post presence. And I love Ja Morant. He's obviously going to miss the 25 games. Hopefully, whatever the problem.
If things go bad there, I need Cleveland to call about Steven Adams.
That would be a major get for them. But and I do like the addition of Derrick Rose too. Not in terms of really much as a player, but like as that veteran presence, same with like Marcus Smart to help, because that was a lot of things with Memphis. They were a undisciplined, unprofessional, and childish type team. And
I agree with John in the sense that they need a dynamic wing scorer, and Dylan wasn't a dynamic, but Dylan was what you had. He was one of the best perimeter defenders in the NBA, and he wasn't a dynamic wing scorer, but easily. Not even going to joke about you, easily. Okay. Yes, we saw him get destroyed by LeBron. It's LeBron.
I just think he's a lot. I think, listen,
he barks a lot, but he can bite too. Like, the defense is great.
I mean, we kept knocking and calling, and he kept running away the other way.
It's one guy. He got knocking and calling on one guy, and it turns out the guy is arguably the greatest player on the planet. Greatest player ever.
Why are you talking then? That's all I'm saying. You talking.
All I'm saying
Dragon.
Getting dunked on or bitched by LeBron isn't gonna be too much. Is not gonna weigh into how I view you as a player overall when everybody else is.
I think it played a major factor in how the league views him.
Yeah, he still got 86 mil.
Where is he playing?
Okay.
No, I'm genuine. I forgot where
Houston.
He's playing.
Houston.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
I thought you
soccer board every day, Romaine. Remember that. Listen. No, shout out Dylan Brooks. It's all fun, but seriously, don't tuck your tail between your legs when you talk shit. Like, and then
fair enough.
Don't do that.
But
who's your ninth seed?
It's between the Clippers and the Pelicans.
Ah, you're a mean person.
I just don't believe in the health. People just say it's Zion, talk about Zion, but it hasn't just been Zion. Brandon Ingram's barely played either. Like the health problems for them is just they're not even have Trey Murphy for earlier parts of the season this year because he got hurt in the offseason. I don't see
they might trade Brandon Ingram too halfway through the season because he's on the expiring deal and I think he's made it clear he doesn't want to stay.
Yeah, I just don't see I would say they're not gonna have Trey Murphy earlier in the seasons either. Zion is bound to miss 20-30 games this year. CJ is not getting any freaking younger. It just seems like a whole big pot of mess over there.
That's completely fair. Things can blow up easily in New Orleans. My 10th seed is it's kind of 10 and 11. These guys can flip back and forth. Minnesota Timberwolves and the Oklahoma City.
God damn.
I don't believe in it. I don't believe in the dude. I believe in Ant. I love Ant. Cat. Keep calling. You're supposed to be mentioned up with AD, Embiid.
But he doesn't have to be that anymore.
Yeah, well, does he know that?
Yes.
I hope so. Because there's rumors that apparently he doesn't want to be there either now. They don't really want him there. I don't know. I just don't think that this whole team is going to work. I think a lot of people are thinking it's, they got the continuity. They're going to figure it out now. The spacing is figured out. They got Mike Conley. I hear you. I got to see it. And I really don't believe it. I just don't believe in it.
Fair enough, I guess. But yeah, I'm stopping there. I'm not gonna go freaking any deeper than that.
We don't have to go any deeper than that. Up to you, Romaine, because that obviously took a good portion of time. Do you want to do the Eastern Conference? Do you have time to do the Eastern Conference, or do you want to?
No. I have time to be here completely.
Time? Okay, let's go. Eastern Conference playoffs. We'll start from the top again. Who you got coming out of the East? Number one.
Completely depends on their health, but if they're fully healthy, Milwaukee. No, Boston. Not gonna lie, Boston.
It's a back and forth type thing.
It's not even a back and forth. I didn't want to say Milwaukee because I wanted to give Dame and Giannis their flowers. But the more I think about it, it's Boston. Younger team, more like all their players are most likely to play more games. They're gonna be completely together this year. You made staunch upgrades. It's Boston. They're built to run through the regular season.
Yeah, for me, it's Boston as well. Yeah, Boston's the number one seed for me. And for me, it is more of a 1A, 1B type situation. I've always
playoff scenarios, yes, but regular season, I think it's gonna be like a 5-win difference. I'm not gonna lie.
Boston to me has always just been a super talented team. Basically since Tatum and Brown have been on that team has just been one of the top tier teams in the Eastern Conference. Boston and Milwaukee for me are the 1 and 2 seeds. It's not much really to say about that.
I have Milwaukee at 2-2, but my 3 is probably going to catch a lot of people by surprise because I have my Miami Heat right there. Okay. I do have the Heat as a 50-win team. Last year, again, I've seen so many people talk about this team. You don't watch this team. You don't know what went on last year. The Miami Heat were the 5th most injured team in the NBA. Out of the top 5 most injured teams in the NBA, only one of them made the playoffs. Guess who?
Miami Heat.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Throughout the first half of the year, we were shooting 32 to 33% from 3, which is the downgrade. And the reason why is because nobody was in the freaking lineup. Duncan was in and out with injuries. Gabe was barely playing. Like, nobody was actually healthy. The moment everybody was healthy in the second half of the season came around, not only did I think they went 17 and 11 after the actually, let me not say that. I think it's closer. I think it's more like 17 and like 14, but around a good range where they're enough positive, and the 3-point percentage was back to 38. Exactly, shooting around the same clip they're shooting the year previous, where they won 50 games, showing that the shooting was still there. And then when the playoffs came around, they obviously upped it to like 42. But that's what you expect a playoff team that gets locked in to make that jump.
Okay. Listen, I'm not going to sit here and argue that. My whole thing with Miami finishing where I have them finishing is I can easily see them finishing 3, like you. But I just think that the regular season is not taken as seriously, especially in Miami.
I do think this year. I think it is. The
maybe
year we
they could.
we were the first seed, we were very, very serious about the regular season. It just so happened that last year we were just hurt.
All right.
And then
Listen, if that's the case, then I can easily see this team finishing as the 3 seed. But I do think this. I think Philadelphia is a much better regular season team than Miami. Regular season.
You have Philly even in top 5?
Yeah, I do have Philly in the top 5.
I have Philly somewhere around 7 or 8. Not gonna lie.
Interesting. Do you think just the rift
heavy fall
Harden
off
in them?
Heavy thing if everything were hard, even if Harden does play, at most I see is a 6 or 7. And if he doesn't and things go sour and then he gets traded, they're falling off.
Yeah, that's going to be a big, and depending on what they get, but they're not probably going to get that much.
Not much. They're falling off a cliff. I don't even have them that high.
That's interesting. I think. Like, listen, if Harden's gonna play, he's gonna try. If he does the boo boo face stuff again, where he basically just is playing and not really actually playing, then I hear you there. Then the Sixers are gonna basically fall off. And I've been saying
that's what's gonna happen. They're gonna bring him back. They're not gonna trade him. He's gonna get on the court and he's gonna play like shit.
That could easily be a thing. And that my whole thing with them is that they should package Tobias and Harden together just to try and get the best possible outcome they can, because Tobias is on an expiring deal as well. And you don't want to lose him for nothing, even though he's not great, but you just don't want to lose 2 of those guys for nothing right now. Number 4, I have the Cleveland Cavaliers finishing 4.
That's the same team I have at 4.
I think they're another team where I think that their regular season, 51 wins last year. I think that they take a little
second in net rating, one of the slower teams in the NBA, but still scored pretty well. Great defensive core. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley are great regular season defenders. Evan Mobley is a great defender regardless. Jared Allen, I'm just iffy on, but I feel like they did a nice job. They didn't have a lot of salary, but they did a nice job fixing the shooting problem with George Niang and Max Strus. Again, as a Miami Heat fan, I've seen what Max can do. Please. Y'all are going to get a rude awakening of what Max Strus really is. You're going to get 30, but I think the 38% that he can shoot in the regular season with the 6-7 attempts he's going to get is going to be more than enough to give him the ample space. A lot of the problems in the playoffs that they had was the fact that D. Mitch had to jack up threes because he couldn't get in the paint because the paint was clogged the entire time because nobody was playing on freaking Isaac Okoro.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
So you fixed one of the 2 biggest issues you had, and even the rebounding issue didn't even become a problem until the playoffs. So you fixed the biggest issue you had in the regular season. I see this team winning a good 51 to 55.
Yeah, and I just want to do a PSA announcement for Cleveland. Enjoy the success now, because Donovan Mitchell is leaving at season's end. He's going to the New York Knicks. That has already been signed, sealed, and delivered. Just to let everybody know.
That's
I just know. He's not re-signing with them. He's on an expiring deal. He's not going to resign. Where did he want to go? Where was the place he wanted to go?
He wanted to go to New York.
He wanted to go to New York. He's from New York. I'm pretty sure, right? And that's just it. It's kind of a Kawhi type move. You go to a team, but he's going to spend 2 years on the team, and then he's going to go to the place that he really wanted to go, which is the New York Knicks. They'll have a opening contract there. They'll probably trade RJ Barrett, and then the Knicks can be happy a little bit that they got Donovan Mitchell and Jalen Brunson, which will be a pretty good duo.
They don't even have to trade him. They can probably just do a sign and trade if you're going to get Donovan.
I'm just saying get rid of RJ Barrett because RJ Barrett's just a net. He's not somebody you want.
I'm not going to lie. If you get a player like Donovan Mitchell, RJ Barrett no longer is not in the offensive role that he is in right now. That's a perfect place for him.
RJ Barrett's not going to accept that role.
Huh?
RJ Barrett's not going to accept that role.
That's also a possibility, but I don't think he's showing that type of attitude problem where he's not going to accept the role like that.
I would hope. My 5th seed is going to be the Miami Heat, but like I said, I could easily see them finishing 3 through 5, anywhere from there. It's no slight. I think these teams are all going to finish basically 50, at 50, a little bit above 50. So I have the Miami Heat finishing 5th.
My 5th seed is the New York Knicks.
The Knickerbockers.
As much as I despise a couple teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't hate the Milwaukee Bucks, but I've had a big problem with how people have been talking about Giannis at this off season and a lot of the things that went on. So they're on my shit list right now. But teams that I've hated for a while include the Boston Celtics and the New York Knicks.
I hate the Knicks too.
But I have to admit, when a team's talented, he can play in the regular season. Jalen Brunson is a freaking dog.
Yeah, love Jalen.
Jalen Brunson is a good dog. Julius Randle in the regular season is an All NBA player. In the regular season, he's an All NBA player.
No. In a week,
Emmanuel. I mean, I think he would average 24 in the regular season anywhere else. It's just
but I don't think that he would be in the West. I don't think he'd be an All NBA player.
I mean, it's not done by conference though, so it's not.
I don't think he makes it.
But Emmanuel Quickly is a great backup. Is one of the best backup guards in the NBA. Again, we've seen the whole RJ Barrett shoots well in this span of time, whether it's the Olympics or whether it's FIBA or whether it's the preseason and then the regular season come around. It's back to the same old shit all over again. Like
they're building Villanova.
But he did give me a little bit of hope that he's figuring things out with how well he did play in the playoffs. He had one bad game against us, but he played really well overall for the entire series. So I would hope that things fall into place that way. You no longer have to feel forced to play Obi Toppin because he was such a high draft pick, but he was a whole lot of like empty calories. Not gonna lie, like not a good, like big but not big enough to play the 4, but not skilled enough to play the 3. Not a good enough shooter at the 3, but can't slide his feet defensively and can't handle 4s either. He was just exciting and can jump. That was it. You felt the need to play him. You have a full season of Josh Hart, who's one of the best role players in the NBA. And whether they trade Evan Fournier or they're incorporating him in the lineup, I do think he's a guy that deserves some minutes. Hell, McBride is another guy on that team that's a really young defender that you don't know what he may become offensively going into this season too. So I do have them up there as the 5th seed simply because just consistency, continuity, and Jalen Brunson is the way he played against us really made me a believer in him.
Yeah, same here. Echo that point. Jalen Brunson gained my respect in the Miami Heat series.
There's no reason why they should have almost won that game 6.
No, there wasn't. Even though I truly believe that if Jimmy doesn't go down, we sweep them.
We always sweep them easily. I'm not going to lie.
We win game 2. But I have the New York Knicks finishing number 6. Echo the same sentiments. They're a great regular season. Well, great. They're a very good regular season team. Tibbs is going to have them playing hard night in and night out. Like you said, Brunson is a dog. They're building that Villanova team, the Villanova boys, the DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, and
they did get DiVincenzo too. Yeah,
they got the Villanova boys. They building the Villanova boys. So yeah, they're building a foundation there, and that's why Donovan Mitchell's just going to slip right in there pretty easily, and they're going to be a pretty good team. They're not going to be a championship contending team, but they're going to be a pretty good team next year. Who's your 6th seed?
At 6, I like them. I would expect them to be a little bit higher. I have my list right. I would expect them to be a little bit higher. But
you can give the Sixers there?
No, I'm not. No. It's people don't want to hear from, but I just have a gut feeling that he really has it. He's really is back. He's not like I do think the injuries the past couple years has been part of the reason why he's been so shit. I think Brooklyn got a real shot at 6, man. I really do think Brooklyn got a shot.
Oh shit, son. Brooklyn?
Yes. Ben Simmons at the Ben Simmons.
Oh, Benji. Okay, you're talking about Benji. Okay.
Yeah, him being I think the injuries did also have a reason as to why he wasn't, but he looked really nice this preseason so far.
Did. All that jumper?
He does that shit all the time. Take jumps in the preseason. Until I see him do it consistent in the regular season. Take them in the regular season. I don't care.
Consistently.
But he looked agile. He looked present in the defensive end again. He looked like he looked like one of the best transition players when at his peak. When he looked like he's back to that level where he's one of the best transition players in the NBA. He's always been one of the better perimeter defenders. He's a great passer. The diversifying of his offensive game. I think a full season of Mikal. I do think he got a taste of being a main offensive engine and a main play initiator. And he didn't do, I wouldn't say he did well because the Brooklyn Nets were on the lower end of offensive efficiency, but he upped his numbers. And I think on a team where Ben Simmons is going to be the main play initiator, I do think he'll be fine. I think Nicholas Claxton is one of the most underrated players in the NBA. And Cam Johnson is also really, really good. Coming off their bench, I do think Cam Thomas finally gets a solid freaking minutes in the NBA.
The next coming of MJ.
You come off the bench, you have a guard of Spencer Dinwiddie and Cam Thomas seems pretty nice. Then and they still have Dorian Finney-Smith. I like the roster.
Yeah, no. Listen, Brooklyn's got a solid roster. I don't see it. For them, number 7, I have the Atlanta Hawks.
That's my 7. That's my 7 too.
Yeah, they're one of those teams right down there. Tier below team. What would you call that? Tier 4, tier 4ish type team.
I will say that Quinn Snyder's offense and making Trae Young be a little bit more off ball is fantastic. I do think Trae Young, as an offensive engine, is one of the best in the NBA, easily, like one of the best in the NBA. Probably, I'm not gonna lie. If you give Jokic the title of best passer, Trae Young is number 2. Like he's that good. And him being in quarter period.
Ron Steve, he didn't lose that gift, man.
He didn't lose the gift. But I do think people have. We're not going to get into that. we're not going to talk about that right now. That's going to put me in a bad position.
Got the gift.
But I do think Trae Young in actual offense, an actual offense, not a Nate McMillan now. A Quinn Snyder offense is going to be fantastic. AJ Griffin showed a lot of flashes the rookie year, and he didn't have that big of a role, so I do expect him to be a little bit better this year. Jalen Johnson is a guy that's going to fall right into John Collins' role, and he's a lot more dynamic. He's a lot more dynamic and fundamentally sound than John Collins is. Aneke Okongwu, fantastic defensive center that's added a mid-range jumper to his game, has just slowly gotten better offensively. And then Capella's coming off your bench too. I like them as a team.
Yeah, they got a solid team. I don't know if you met
to be a playoff team.
Yeah, DeJounte Murray's up in
there.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, DeJounte is just up in the air in the sense that he's good enough to be a 20-point per game scorer, but nothing more. He doesn't have a dynamic enough offensive game to be any more than a 20-point per game scorer. And I do think he's a little bit overrated as a defender, but it is what it is.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, even though I'm not very high on Trae Young, I can still understand that he's a star in this league, and he can get the job done. Number 8, I have the Chicago Bulls.
The Indiana Pacers.
Yeah, the Indiana Pacers. Okay. I have the Indiana Pacers number 9. I think
the Pacers were a playoff team. They were a playoff team last year before Tyrese got hurt, and then they fell out. Hopefully, a full healthy season of Tyrese. It either goes one way. Either they're not in the playoffs, either not a seed, or if they're lower than that, then they blow it up and get rid of Buddy Hield and Miles Turner and actually try to build a cohesive team around him. But Benedict Mathurin showed a lot of flashes his rookie year too, so I expect jumps in efficiency this year. Become even more solid. Adding Bruce Brown coming off your bench was great. I got a lot of great young guys on the team, from Neesmith to Nimhard, to I think Brissett is now in Boston, so I think he's gone. Andrew Jackson, no, is that his name? I can't remember. Some Jackson on the team, I can't remember. But Jalen Smith is also a guy that last year, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith is a guy that I was expecting to take at least a solid little leap last year, but position got moved. He was playing more of the 5, and that's not really what he's built for the 5, one of the two, but he wasn't really built for that position. So it didn't really look too great the entire season for him. So look for him to have, if he has a solidified role and play his position, his actual position. And who is it? Were they the one that got Taylor? Were they the was it Taylor Hendricks, right? Or Jarris Walker?
I'm not seeing either. Jarris Walker. Yeah, they got Jarris Walker.
Yeah, Jarris Walker is a nice defensive. The place they're missing is at that forward spot, and I do think he can fit in pretty nicely there. Also, they're not going to be anything crazy, and I do think Tyrese is just a great offensive engine that can get him up there. But I don't think I see anything higher than 8. I don't think I see anything higher than like 7, maybe 6, but I have them at 8.
That's interesting. So you still have yet to put the Sixers anywhere.
9.
Wow, that's interesting. No belief in Embiid, Nick Nurse.
Hell no. Wow. Nick Nurse likes to run his guys into the ground. Pair that with Embiid is not a good thing.
Okay. All right. Oh, Romaine's going on it. Yeah, my 8 through 10 is the Bulls, Pacers, Wizards. I kind of have them finishing kind of in the similar.
Also, the reason why I have the Philadelphia 76ers because I think Daryl Moore's going to refuse to trade Harden for a little bit, and he's going to be an absolute asshole, and he's gonna definitely sabotage the team for a couple of games there.
That would be absolutely terrible for the the Philadelphia 76ers and their fans. That would suck for them. But nothing new for James Harden. That is James Harden.
That's his MO.
Yeah, that is him. So yeah, you want to give your 10th seed or doesn't matter about the East?
I mean,
Wizards, Bulls.
I guess the Bulls, they've always snuck into those spots, but I don't think it's going to matter. I don't think any of the playing teams are going to be able to get into the playoffs.
No.
The 9 and 10 seed.
9 and 10 seed. Yeah, no, they don't really matter that much there. So that's going to wrap up our Eastern Conference, Eastern playoffs talk there. I guess to wrap that up would be like dark horses wise.
Like I was said,
yeah,
Minnesota, Cleveland.
Minnesota and Cleveland for him. For me, it's I don't really have a dark horse. I think that the relative big four of Phoenix, both Los Angeles teams, and Golden State are going to be relatively healthy, and that's going to kind of overtake any team kind of jumping up. Obviously, I could easily be wrong there, and those teams or half those teams could be crumbling down, and then a Sacramento or whoever the hell makes a big jump forward and takes that spot. So I'm all here for it pretty easily there. And the Eastern Conference, I think it's pretty relatively set. In the top tier team, I don't really think there's going to be much movement that much.
I think the top 5 is officially set and known unless some major injury derails anything. But I think they're set.
Yeah, that's pretty set there. And I guess to really wrap it up, and then we'll exit stage left. Romaine, it's just I'm not happy. Okay, I'm not happy.
Jimmy.
I'm not. Yes, my boy Jim Bean. Okay,
it's the same way I feel about that GM survey that didn't have Bam at all. Like even as an honorable mention for a top 5 defender, like he didn't even get an honorable mention.
Yeah, well, people are idiots. So let's pull this up, bro. Let me just pull this up real quick, and so I can read it off to everybody here. ESPN First Take, Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp released their top 10 players in the NBA. And Jimmy Butler is failing to appear on either of these guys' lists.
He didn't make he I think I only saw him.
Did he make the ESPN list. Top?
No, he didn't. He was 11 or 12. I don't think he made top 10 in almost
because of
list.
this one guy that's there. This one guy that's popping in here now, Mr. Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
I mean, most of the time Jimmy's like 11 or 12. So I don't even think you subtract Trey. I don't even think Shea he'd still make it because people still have Damian Lillard and Devin Booker above him in some lists also.
Listen, all I gotta say is, how the fuck is a guy who has never done anything in the playoffs except for the 1 year where he rode Chris Paul's coattails to get there, all right, played second fiddle to Chris Paul. How is this guy just put into the top 10 players in the world? You got to do something. You got to be somebody. I can list. You want me to, Nikola Jokic, world champ, MVP multiple times. Giannis, MVP multiple times, world champ. Steph Curry, MVP champion. Joel Embiid, MVP. LeBron James, we know who he is. Kevin Durant, top 15 player to a lot of people all time. Jason Tatum, been to the finals. Luka Doncic. Okay, he's the one, but he's made it to the Western Conference.
No, not even that. Every single time he's been in the playoffs, he's been absolutely insane.
Well, yeah, his
team has let him down multiple times. Yeah. He's been to Western Conference Finals. Shea hasn't even been to the playoffs. Yeah.
One time as a second fiddle to Chris Paul, and they lost to the Houston Rockets. Anthony Davis, world champion. Jimmy Butler, who should be in there, been to the finals 2 out of the last 4 years. Eastern Conference Finals 3 out of the last 4 years. Dame Lillard, been to a Western Conference Finals.
Devin Booker last year, 70 points. I understand it. I personally do feel like Shea is getting a big boost, but the more I look at it, the more I feel like it's disrespect. But at the same time, I understand it. 30 points per OKC last year, people didn't even view them as a playing team. So for them to break it as hard as they did And for Shea to become a 30-point per game, 31-point per game scorer, while also being one of the best young guard defenders in the NBA at the same time, being virtually unstoppable in offense. And the only reason why I think they didn't make the playoffs too is because of the eye injury, especially against Minnesota, which is the whole problem with the whole thing too. I think they would have made the playoffs if he was completely healthy. But
Romaine, straight up, like, who's a better
player?
player?
No, he shouldn't be over Jimmy. He shouldn't be over Jimmy, but I just try to rationalize the way they're thinking to have him that high.
Well, they're doing the thing again of they're putting the cart before the horse. This kid has not done anything yet, and they're pushing him up there, and I just don't like it. I don't think it's fair, and I don't think it's right. I think it's disrespectful to the players that I named before him, a Dame, a Devin Booker, a Jimmy Butler, guys like that. Guys ranked ahead of Anthony Davis. What the fuck is going on, man? Like, seriously, it's got to stop with the putting the people that haven't earned or deserve the right to be in there just because we think this is going to happen, but we don't know this is going to happen. Okay? You got to wait. 31 points per game is nothing to be sneezed at, right? That's an insane mark. But you got to see where this guy is going. Yes, okay, they made the play-in. They didn't make the playoff.
The problem with it is that it's not 30 points per game on like mid efficiency. It's the fact that he's 30 on 50% shooting, and he was
not from three though.
He's not a great 3-point shooter, but he was just unconscious overall.
Shooter? I'm forgetting his off the top.
Fantastic 3-throw shooter. Fantastic. One of the best mid-range shooters. Easily one of the best finishers in the NBA. Some of the best footwork. Has like 50 different counters for every single thing he has. Great read and react guy. Underrated playmaker. I fully understand why people have him as if they had him top 10. If they had him like top 12, top 15, I understand that completely. It's just the 7s, the 8 spots. I'm just like, what are we doing anymore, bro?
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. He hasn't done anything. You got to do something to be somebody. The legacy and your reputation and resume is created in the playoffs, and he has only had one appearance as a second fiddle to Chris Paul. But that's my rant, and I'm sticking to it. Jimmy Butler's a top 10 player in the world right now.
I agree.
Disrespectful.
I'm just when we turn off these cameras, I don't want to say any of my heat takes until we get the shit done. But when we turn this shit off, I'm gonna give you one of them. And when everything does crumble and y'all realize the bullshit y'all been speaking, those streams next summer are gonna be amazing.
It's going to be talk to me nice or don't talk to me at all. But that is going to wrap up episode 134 of the Wise Guys podcast. If you stayed till the end, please give us a thumbs up, like the video, subscribe if you are new, share the content, comment along with us, and tell us what you think about our takes and what your takes are. Follow Romaine on Twitter. Link is in the description. Go subscribe to FLB, his channel. Link is in the description. Go follow me on my personal stuff on TikTok and Twitter. And go follow the Wise Guys accounts on TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, all that fun stuff, fun jazz. But like I said, that's going to wrap us up today. I've been Brandon Capozziello. That was Romaine Davis, FLB.
Yes, sir.
We are outie 3 thouty. I just banged the table. Stay classy.